going? Okay, we'll get the board meeting started here. It doesn't look like Dylan could make meeting from Parks and Rec. Jerry was having some technical difficulties getting the meeting minutes out through his firewall, so he's working on that. So we'll move into Michaela's report.
I think probably the biggest thing to just touch base on, because I know I said that we were meeting with the accountant today. So Ian and myself and then Claire and Matt also met with the accountant. I can't really give you much of an update. They're still navigating a lot of expenses and income and trying to just figure out like where all of it goes. There was some missing information from gaming that they need to get inputted, so I really can't give much of an update. I was hoping to come in tonight and say, okay, this is where we're at. Obviously, we need to start working on budget. There's stuff that I know we're looking at for the next season. Jerseys being probably one of the top things that I know we've discussed. I can't really make a lot of decisions until we know where we sit financially. We're looking at the fixed lot system. We do have a quote on that and we'll fill it and probably move forward with that because we had budgeted for that anyways. I think we can break it into 3 payments and we can push off that payment into all of July. So I think, that'll be okay. But there are some, things that we probably need to discuss once we get the finances. Some recommendations that I have overall, but I don't want to make those recommendations until we know where we sit financially. So we're kind of just stuck right now with that. That's probably the biggest thing. Anything side of it, the coaching meeting?
We cleared up some information, which was good.
Yeah.
We cleared some reporting stuff up and just wanted to get wanted to get some numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really.
Will we have it by next meeting?
Hopefully, I had asked for it by today. So, hopefully by next month we will have that. We have a short turnaround now between this meeting and the May meeting, and so it does just give them a couple of weeks, but I would hope that we can get some updated financials, because I would hope to present the preliminary budget in May. And see where we're at, because like I said, we need to start making some decisions if we're ordering jerseys. We talked about probably May 20th is kind of our like, timeline of where we would like to be in ordering them. So, yeah, I mean, we need to probably get those financials updated. And yeah, I looked at the budget, but it's really hard when we have nothing from the season. No income, no expenses. I can do some guessing based off of what I know, but I don't want to guess.
Don't want to guess. Don't want to guess based on these, honestly.
Yeah, so that's kind of the update on financials at this point. Hopefully soon, as soon as we get them, we'll get something off to you guys too, because I think it's important for you guys to kind of know where we sit with that. And yeah, like the gaming stuff really was missing a lot, so I can't tell you where any of that is at. Other than that, I mean, you guys got my report, questions, anything? I know a couple of us were talking about survey results and, you know, take some of it and you learn and you grow and you make changes and you take some of it and you can't really take a lot of constructive criticism from it. It's just skewed sometimes. So we'll adjust the surveys for next year. I have talked to a couple of the other programs about how they do surveys. Some programs don't do any surveys, some don't believe in comment boxes, some, you know, so I think we just have to look at what our other clubs doing and adjust from there.
So what did they say? Like, there's a lot of comments, right? And like a lot of them, people are like, well, why am I commenting here when I didn't do this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just a lot. So I mean, I guess what did you hear from other clubs? Some people just don't do it.
Yeah, Grand Forks specifically only sends to their coaches. They don't send any surveys to any members. You know, they feel like members have already been given opportunities to speak when they want to, and you know, don't need to give them a platform to. Yeah. So West Fargo does a survey, but they don't do all the comment boxes. It's a rating, you know, and that's what I was saying to Brad. If you look at our overall ratings, I mean, they're good. You know, it's just of course the people that want to say negative things are the ones that are going to comment. You know, we don't see people that come in. I mean, and there's 142 people that responded, 1,200, almost 1,300 surveys were sent out. You know, so a very small number even responded, a very small number of that said negative things. So, you know, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, but that's, like I said, I think looking at other clubs for next year and just focusing in on how are they doing this, we might wanna rethink it. You know, so, I mean, because even though it's a small number of negative comments, it also is just downright rude sometimes. I mean, you know,
I don't know. And I feel
stuff probably said about everyone else.
I found a really good one. I'm at print them out. There was a comment that said my kid could skate and get in hockey at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year he loved it.
Well, we get
Like, oh, there was good comments in there.
There were.
I get more good than bad.
I gave the fist bump for that one.
That was an honest
I feel like-
comment. I feel like a lot of, you know, the negative stuff, I feel was stuff we've heard
And we've already
prior.
discussed,
Like we've
right?
discussed it, we've
Yeah.
heard it, like it wasn't
Like we
new.
are self-aware in that.
It wasn't
regard.
new,
Yeah.
negative, you know, things that people were saying.
Right.
Stuff just, I was like, oh yeah, we heard that.
Some of the negative things are just being mean. Like, it's not to say like, oh, Michaela could work on this, or she should focus in on this. It's just like, hate her and I want her destroyed. Like, I mean, it wasn't said like that, but that's, you know, how it comes across. And so it's like, what am I supposed to take from that? You know, instead of.
I think that's why you take half of them and you throw out. And you actually,
There's some good stuff.
Yeah, there was.
you could tell the people that were genuine and
Right.
if it was supposed to be somewhat
Yeah.
constructive.
Yeah.
I look at those comments and being like, okay, you know, maybe we need some more resources for certain things and that sort of stuff versus the ones that are like throwing darts and everything. Being uncomfortable.
The whole program sucks.
Yeah. I think those comments are valuable in a sense.
And that's, I wish that we could
Yeah.
feel the ones that are gonna help us grow, right? But of course, if you open comments up, you open comments up. So it's hard, but, I mean, overall, I thought, you know, like when you look at the ratings, like our ratings are high as far as, you know, satisfactory or agree, strongly agree. And I think that overall they were better than last year. So I think we're trending in a better direction. So I can't complain about it, but it just like, other than that, I mean, we've really, this last month, we've been working on so many things, to get ready for next season already. You know, tournaments are gonna get released here. couple of weeks, the golf tournament, planning for scheduling. We're all gonna sit down and kind of hash out like a mock schedule. Thinking about, how we get creative, how we use the ice more, we power cat logs, getting the termites work back in. Obviously, we have 3 being open, so just trying to figure out like what that looks like a little bit more. I know Mario put in his report, and I talked to him today about that a little bit too, is like, we use like Monday, Tuesday, like power skating and skills, trying to figure that out. I think we're gonna try with like power skating and trench to make that like a consistent schedule, rather than just all over the map. I think the more consistency we can get, I think our ice schedule will probably never be consistent. Like, I just think there's too many variables that play into that, but if we can try with some areas, I think that will help people too. So employee evaluations, met with DIBS, we went through the DIBS policy, we went through the grievance policy, we went through the grievance committee, like we've just been really trying to work on a lot of things, so, it's been busy, but all off season, busy. I don't know, anything else? Advertising contract, we are working through that too. We met figure skaters in parks last week, kind of started working on that, so we're gonna hopefully get that finalized with parks too in the next couple of weeks. Questions?
With Pixelot, does that go to be a free, with the new contract?
Yeah, so, the system itself is like $6,000, and then of course we have to get some electrician in there to set it up and all that. But then it's the annual fee, which is like 16,000, I think, for all 5 of them. Yeah, so the total bill is like 54,000.
But we can spread that.
If we can split it.
Do we get a discount? I think you were gonna ask. We don't?
And no, and when I look back at past bills, just when Phil and I met yesterday about it, I looked to see, the past bills, it looked like we were paying annual. I mean, we want to continue to just pay annually. It should be 20,000 this year because we have to pay for the system and the cost, and then 16 and 16 or something. I think for the main meeting, I would hope that we have our policies, handbooks, you guys, preliminary budget, and, some, like I said, recommendations and some things that I would like to bring. But I need the financial to bring any of that, so that's kind of my hope.
If you don't get the financial details, do we push that into that?
We're still thinking.
I'm saying, do we push the May back? Like we did
Well, we
this,
could, we could talk about it,
maybe
but
like real time make that decision?
hopeful after today.
I know there was
We
some
got some
comments that
answers.
said that we changed locations one time in the surveys, but I think if we did,
Yeah.
we make a right decision, and if we do, we can go back
Yeah.
to have that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we definitely could, just because, like I said, it's just a couple weeks now, and we're back here again, so. But,
That's the big piece, seems to be missing.
yeah, I just feel like I'm stuck on a lot of these things, but, and we did move the golf permit, Matt, you pointed out that was a ways we get, and I was like, oh.
Is it actually, it's July 19th?
It's July 19th.
It's July 19th. So when we posted on Facebook,
Tom O'Leary.
Yeah.
that was,
Yep, it's released, registration is open, but yeah, Matt pointed it out, I talked to Mike, and he's like, I don't know, that's probably a bad practice. So we moved it to July, it'll be hot, but it'll be good. So working on that as well. We do have, a meeting Thursday, it's our last meeting site. Hopefully get that contract finalized and signed, so I don't think there's an issue, but.
I'm hoping $10,000 challenge.
Will be released soon, yeah, we talked about it yesterday, during an employee meeting, but I think we kind of figured out what Mario was wanting to do with it, so we're kind of waiting on him to give some final approval on things, but yeah, I think we figured out the last details that we needed to get it released and going, so May 1st, I think we're kind of shooting to actually put it out to next week. There's something with gaming and colors. Maybe not. Oh, I was gonna ask about the other.
Oh, yeah, we can set a meeting.
Okay, any other questions? Any other thoughts?
Mario was out sick, so we did get a quick update here. Looking at levels and team declarations for next year. We met with the girls committee to have a discussion. Were you at that one? Went well.
Yeah, what would you like to know?
Well, I'm just, yeah, he gave us a little update. Just kind of trying to figure out final numbers. Is that kind of where it's, and then where to declare the teams.
My understanding is nothing really was finalized because it's still in place. Is that accurate?
Just to put you on the spot.
I mean, Mike was there.
Mike was
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was good. I think there's, the next step on the girls' side would be adding a 10-way level. I think the club did a good job of tiering the group of girls with mites, say like that, different levels, and then had 2 10-Bs, we have a 12A, 15A, well, let's close that gap. Kind of bring sync in harmony and have that competitive nature where girls can progressively, increase. The elephant in the room would be, the challenge of the 15A level of numbers. Adequate numbers to have, 2 teams. The success of the 15A last year, hopefully they can continue on along having a 15B. And not do what happened last year. The 12A is not a problem. Just finding appropriate tournaments and games.
Kind of safe as most years.
Yeah, I mean,
You have a couple numbers thing too.
Yeah.
That's it all slow.
Never know how many girls are gonna move up to high school or stay back. We're trying to make it more attractive to stay and play 15 hockey, maybe, I don't know, I mean,
More games, more practices.
There's a huge advantage, comparing apples and oranges on the boys' side, the freshmen boys typically don't go up, right? And some do, right, for various reasons. And the girls' side, especially if recent changes in the high school level, it's been socially acceptable, right or wrong. So there's an opportunity to retain some members to stay down and have an attractive schedule, practices, longer season versus maybe not playing. There's potential for an upside of the club.
I missed something important and I was like sitting here looking. Think, oh yeah, if I can back up 1 minute and just talk quickly about something, or if you guys want to finish that discussion or whatever, but I just missed something. Okay. So we had our Southwest District meeting last night to vote on any proposed changes for NDHA rules and regulations and things like that. So there was just 4 this year. I think last year was like 20 some. So there was only 4 this year, which was amazing. Number 1, they wanted to make a fighting penalty 2 games. A second fighting penalty would be 4 games. A third fighting penalty would be having to meet with the disciplinary committee. So that was number 1. It got tabled by our district to take to the spring meeting and discuss more. USA Hockey is 1, 3, and then disciplinary committee, so it is higher level with what they're trying to propose and change from what USA Hockey requires. I think the discussion really was around the fact that this is a rule change for NDHA, and then you get referees, it's not changing the officiating rules, right? And then also some referees are gonna call everything a fighting, some are gonna say it's not fighting, until you get that. So there's a lot of discussion about it, table until the next meeting. Also, every affiliate needs to update their information on the NDHA website. We always do, I submit a form every year, so if you for being at Bismarck, they are just proposing that be updated by every affiliate. That again was tabled, and then there was a proposal for a code of conduct for all board members as well from NDHA. I got a proposal sent to me about what that looks like. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, I'm going to represent my affiliation well. I'm going to, all of those types of things. So I don't think it's a bad idea to think about something like that. Hold our members and our players to a code of conduct, so board members maybe as well. But that also got tabled. And then the other one would have been, just the rotation of state tournaments. So we would have 4 different levels potentially in the Southwest District next year.
Want us up here yet or not quite? We can hang out down there too.
Yeah, not quite. I'll come grab you.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it.
So that was a unanimous yes by all of us in the Southwest District to just do this rotation of all the tournaments, essentially taking away the super tournaments that was years ago. because nobody really posts those. There's very few organizations that have enough high school superintendents. So for 2024, we could be looking at, 4 in the Southwest District. Now, what we get, I won't know until later. And then, lastly, with that meeting, Lake was actually voted in to be our new Southwest rep for NDHA. So Lake is now part of that.
Congrats.
So, yeah, it's good to have someone from Bismarck again representing the NDHA. So.
Any comments on state tournaments?
Oh, yes, that was brought up as well.
Yes.
Yes. We essentially just discussed it and like what the thoughts were. And again, just Southwest District, I did voice that Bismarck was maybe not in support of the play-in games and limiting those. I mean, I had voiced that last spring, I voiced it in the fall, voiced it again last night. I don't think play-in games should happen, especially like Bantam AA only had 6 teams, like why limit it to 4? Like that just seems kind of silly, where Bantam A it was like, now you have 13, it was an odd number. But again, 5 teams didn't go. And so I don't agree with it at youth level. I think we should all be able to send our kids to state tournament. So I did voice that. I think there's just more discussion that will happen at the spring meeting. So not really anything decided upon, but they are talking about Bantam AA and Bantam A again doing it, but again, not decided upon. The other thing with that is they're only at 3 weekends of state tournaments. Because of the way junior bowl, high school are gonna fall this year, it's been weird. 3 weekends of state tournaments would be a lot if somebody's gonna host all 3 weekends, 2 is enough. So I don't know yet, that again hasn't been decided on, but they did propose that it would be spread out over 3 weekends. So basically going until like March 18th or something late. So we'll see how that works out too. I'm not able to go to the spring meeting, it's in Jamestown, so Mike's gonna go and sit in on behalf of BHB, so I'm gonna relay the same information to him for the meeting last night, and then he'll include it in any emails in the next couple of weeks. So. May 11th. Yeah, the kiddo graduated college, so. So I just wanted to update on the Southwest meeting, unless I forgot, that was after I sent my report to you guys, so. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Sounds good. My other stuff Mario had here was just planning out the BHB events ahead of time, a little more in advance for next year. Utilizing morning ice time along with skill and skating days, like brought up. Having teams rotate a little bit more for those morning ice sessions. Figuring out the process for teams to pick up extra ice time as it becomes available. Scheduling, I think towards the end of the year, we have really good response to extra time.
Just looking at those days off from school, I really talked about that the last couple of years, but yeah, trying to really use that time.
Practice jerseys for next year, so we're going to look at that on the budget item for all the teams. And then working on some additional games up in Canada, or close to Bismarck. Anything else on that side? I know you had all the coaches meetings. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, so I've been compiling the results of that, the information I got, and I think Mario and I are going to meet up either later this week or early next week, kind of go through it all, and try to incorporate the most critical things in the next season. Obviously, there's a lot of, you get a lot of information, and you can't put everything into action, but I mean, the ones that have the biggest impact, I think are really important to consider anyway. So we'll do that for sure.
For those were well attended, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't have an exact, I highlighted everybody that showed up, so I could give you accounts, probably about 70% of the coaches showed up, which is pretty good.
Yeah. That one I was at, I thought it was pretty good discussion. Sounds good. Anything from any of the committees at all? You guys meet?
Yeah. Like some of the survey stuff, I guess I wonder if you feel it's real or not. As far as like teaching tools, certain ranks, is that real?
You like,
Having, like coaches having the adequate stuff. I know whiteboards were brought up, like that sort of, I feel like.
yeah, I've heard that it'd be nice if we had like some kind of mountable whiteboard, rink diagrams, so that you can use that during games and practices, and not just in the locker room, but somewhere in the ice facility when you're playing. We had some ice extra, but most coaches do bring a whiteboard or some kind of a, rink map that they can diagram drills on. I know someone was talking about having a laptop at the rink so that you can get onto whatever website to look at your practice plan, which, I mean, again, it's a great idea, but I don't know how practical it is to, implement. I mean, it'd be nice to have laptops or some kind of computer system to do all the score sheets too. We don't have that either, so. Yeah, I mean, I think, whatever we can do to make it easier for the coaches, I'm all for. We can put some of those things in the equipment bins. I think next year we've got to be a little more organized and who gets a key to those bins and how, what we put in there. I think with the new equipment room at VFW, it'd be a lot easier to keep things under wraps. And this year we never had a cage over there to put anything in. So, yeah, I mean, we can do that.
I just was reading some comments and like, if we practice at a certain rink, I don't want to coach, there's nothing ever, like, and I don't know if that's, you take it for the grain of salt, like.
Well, and then in terms of like equipment, we definitely need shooter tutors at each facility, and not just two of them. We need probably at least two for each ice surface. They typically will get used, once an evening, or maybe even more, depending on if goalies show up, or teams only have one goalie. So I think having those, and I know we bought cones this year, that was good. We bought the larger size cones that people wanted. So yeah, we'll take some of that into consideration and make sure that whatever, is required, we will have. And I think we try to do that every season. It's just, everybody wants something different sometimes, but definitely the shooter tutors. I think anyone who's coach knows that, it's hard to run a practice when you don't have a goalie and the guy. You've seen that blue one they have at VFW.
Yeah, it's been there for about 35 years.
Yeah, it's like hanging together by the thread.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at some of those comments and.
Yeah, as far as like the younger kids, I don't know, there's probably some other things we can look at. I'll get with Mario and try and see if there are other on ice, coaching things that we can buy and we can help coaches out. But we've been able to improvise pretty well out there. And setting up obstacle courses and things like that.
Yeah, I feel like whatever you need, we should get budget for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can put together a wish list, I suppose.
Yeah.
See how it fits into the budget.
Some good goalie pegs would be
What's that?
Good goalie pegs would be nice.
Those blue ones work pretty well, or not really?
They make an all-in-one now that has the coating for the post.
That's what we have. We have 2 sets, but they're not cheap.
I talked to Nate at Goal Robbers and gave them about half for retail for us.
Yeah. And then you can adjust the bottoms, the bite screws in.
So those would be game pegs that you have.
They just have.
I don't know if they're,
I don't
think you can use them with USA Hockey.
all practices.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're like when we do like post drills with my boys, I'll put the bite way down so the net will not move, so they're not breakaway bags.
So that's probably gonna give us some good sliding.
Correct. That's why I don't think they're USA approved. But for like goalie drills, they're almost, if you don't have the basically the pro bags in VFW one, you're gonna get moving. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I can put together. You 3 guys are goalie, you goalie, so you can put it together and we'll look at it for sure.
Or find somebody doing it. Figure it out there.
Excellent. We just
That sounds good. Anything else before we agenda items? All right, first one I had, Maria said I'll stick around the whole time if you want, but, and as we update our handbooks this summer, I thought this would be good info, but get some disciplinary process feedback.
Yeah, well, thanks. Oh, yeah, thanks. Well, and, again, I appreciate, I'm president of the Figure Skating Club, and so I know that it's been a lot of time, you do a lot of work behind the scenes, so I appreciate all you do. And I did write down, so I keep it very concise and focused, but, my husband was gonna come, he's coaching track, so I'm being, representative for him for us, I guess. But thanks for your time, so I can share some of our experience in filling out the grievance and then the events that followed after. And this was this past season. But I tried my best to keep all the names anonymous because I wanted to make sure that we are ensuring privacy of the players and the families. However, being here today, I want to tell you that my husband, longtime Bismarck hockey coach and hockey referee, as well as my son, who has played with Bismarck hockey at least 9 years, were directly impacted by the actions of the club and board. First, I want to say that prior to filling out a grievance form, I read and reread the disciplinary policy numerous times. I thought to myself, if the decision to allow our player to remain playing, there must be something that would provide an explanation. However, as I continued to review all the specific examples of conduct outlined in the document, I found multiple incidences where at least the following or the minimum occurred: verbal abuse directed at a Bismarck Hockey Booster player, member, official, or employee; physical abuse of Bismarck Hockey Boosters player, member, official, or employee; threats directed toward Bismarck Hockey Boosters player, member, official, or employee; and intimidation or harassment of a Bismarck Hockey Booster player, member, official, or employee. To reiterate, this behavior had not been a single incident or a single season. This type of behavior from the same player had been occurring over multiple years. My husband, along with the other coaches, used every tool that they could to bring accountability and to provide appropriate consequences. Sit for a game, have a meeting with the parents, spend a lot of time on the phone, remove from the ice during practice. And again, these attempts continued throughout the season, and I know they met with the directors as well. They tried everything that they could, and yet the treatment to their own teammates and to the coaches continued to erode the attitude and overall tone of the team. It hit a tipping point, which came at a specific game. I'm not going to tell you all about it, but I'm sure you can see it through the documented grievances and the paperwork that was filed, and thus began a disciplinary process. The player was suspended as requested by my husband and was told to not show up to the rink for the game the following day, but chose to anyways. Coaches had to yet again reiterate that he was suspended at the moment and needed to leave. The disciplinary board, which we know is separate from this group, scheduled a hearing to address the grievances and make a decision. This was nearing the end of the season. One player had already quit mid-season, and it was getting to the point where my husband didn't even want to finish out the year coaching. And let me tell you, he never quits anything. The disciplinary hearing was going to happen, and in all communication, which never went to any of the people who filed agreements, so I never received anything. Just the head coach was given that opportunity to then share that with the team or to the families. It was an invitation if you wanted to attend. So my husband and the other coaches had dealt with this situation all year. They had filed the formal paperwork and did what was necessary to document the incidents. And then my husband is informed that the player is going to be reinstated with one, sorry, I should have, it's my edits. But the reason being that no one showed up to testify or voice their grievance in person during the hearing. This was absolutely, in my opinion, absurd. None of the coaches were going to subject themselves, but especially the other players were not going to go and be in public against a player who had been harassing and basically physically abusing them all along. Players who had experienced this awful behavior did not want to do that, and my husband was not going to ask them to do that. So this made me ask myself a lot of questions. Did the grievances even get read? What's the point of disciplinary policy and a code of conduct if this level of behavior isn't considered a violation? Isn't BHB required to follow safe sport policy and protocol? Isn't this a direct violation of that policy that is essentially expecting the victim to show up to share their grievance publicly in front of the person who did the code of conduct violation? In every way, the process and follow-up is absolutely, in my opinion, a violation of safe sport policy. I have been tempted, and I talked with Kyle, that I was considering filing a formal grievance against the club to National Safe Sport. I have to take the safe sport training myself as a board member. I've had to take it as a team mom, so I understand all that goes into it. It's a lot. And so I do know though, in this situation, what should have occurred and what is required in a situation like this. The decision of the disciplinary board, which is an extension of you as the BHB board, put the players and the coaches in a really bad situation. What did that teach the kid? What did that teach the players? And how are you going to keep coaches if you allow this type of conduct to not have major consequences? As I tell my kids, playing is a privilege. And as I say often, you need coaches to have teams, and you need officials to play games. If this club can't figure out a way for us to figure out how to support their coaches, who put in hours and hours on and off the ice to help these teams compete and improve as players and people, I feel like the program is going to quickly lose the integrity and respect of the people who have been longtime supporters of the club. Part of the role of a board, and I take this seriously, I know you guys do too, is to provide policies that allow for protections within the organization. The coaches did everything they could to protect their players. However, the ultimate protections provided through implementation of this policy failed to protect the players and the coaches. And unfortunately, you did just the opposite. This player was reinstated and allowed to finish out the season. So I don't need to go into any more details. I appreciate that you're just willing to listen, but I do think this was an example of, I think the policy is great, I think it's outlined great, the implementation, I think has some improvement. And I think it put the players and the families and the coaches in a really tough situation that probably shouldn't have even gotten to that.
Thanks for sharing. I know one change we have coming is disciplinary board member. Coming up the next election cycle, obviously, it's always going to review policies. And we talked about that.
Yeah. And again, I think we're actually going to try to have the skating club actually cognizant of your code of conduct and your grievance forms, because even filling the grievance form out, I was like, this is helpful for me to process through it. I think it's just the implementation of the policy. I think it begs some questions as to how that all played out, I think, on behalf of the kids.
If I can just say one thing, I appreciate you coming and talking about it, because I know it's not easy, and, as part of the disciplinary committee, and knowing, what happened, I will say this was a very difficult case. I don't want to get into all of the what happened, what didn't happen, whatever, but it was a very difficult case, and I know we actually took things, we actually just met the disciplinary committee, just met a couple weeks ago to go through the grievance policy. We took things from this specific case to change some things in the policy, because it was a difficult one.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. So we did learn from it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ian, do you want to grab? We'll grab the presentation next. Or does anybody else have anything to chat about? It's about a 20-minute presentation.
I just want to introduce and show up, so thank you.
What are you doing?
He is a sick day.
I was with this fellow this morning. He said there's a little blood underneath. There's a little blood underneath.
Literally all.
But yes, 100%, I'm still going, and I need to put that house.
Good.
Well, I can start.
Thank you.
Where's you, my voice? At a bar or something, everyone, oh, got one. Well, we got about 20 minutes here. We're gonna just present Rah, a fundraising company that I'm part owner in, and I run the North Dakota, South Dakota, Western Minnesota territories. My name is Ben Woodside. I live in Fargo, North Dakota. I got a family, a couple of kids. Own a couple businesses there, but I saw value in Rah about a year ago. And so I became part owner of Rah, and we're here to explain how Rah can benefit the Bismarck Youth Hockey Association youth hockey that you guys have here. This is Luke Mormon, and you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm from Dickinson. I've been teaching here at Simley Middle School for 15 years, and it was a tough decision to either jump on board with this. And Ben's a close friend of mine. I set a bunch of screens for him in college at NDSU, so that's kind of my claim to fame for him. I'm excited about it. Jim Petrick, a fellow teacher of ours, as well, the head coach over at Legacy for the girls, is jumping on as well. And we're excited about this. We see the value too, and an opportunity to work with organizations, athletic directors, high schools. I'm excited about that side of it. have some different freedoms than teaching has, I guess, so.
So we have RARA, like I said, throughout the state. And what RARA does, basically the component of RARA, it's a platform that's never been done in fundraising before. So our platform consists of, number one, it's membership based. So every person involved in RARA is a membership. It's a membership based platform. Number two, it's residual income. So year after year after year, you don't have to go out and resell a box or a pizza or cookie dough or the those booklets that you get in the peelers. You don't have to go year after year. You start at zero and you have to resell those. It's residual income that compounds yearly. And we have data that we're going to show you based on the number of kids within Bismarck Youth Hockey, and so we'll dive into that. So it's membership based, it's residual income, and it's all digital. It's all on the digital platform. RARA supported by local businesses. Local businesses support the local supporters, and the local supporters support the local youth. So it's a big ecosystem that we've incurred here that helps small businesses in town. It helps the supporters, because the supporters, if you're a member of RARA, you get something in return. And so we have, in Bismarck right now, we've got about 70 business affiliates and merchants that we work with. We're getting, we just met last week with Chara's, Tequila, Saisons, Golf X, and so we got a number of other local businesses that are coming on board. And what happens is those businesses will have a discount associated with that business. It could be a once a month discount, it could be once a week, it could be daily. So we have approximately 70 in Bismarck. Now, our company stretches nationwide. We have a third-party vendor that has about 400,000 different merchants. So if there's a grandma in Arizona that's a supporter of Jimmy, who's at Bismarck Youth Hockey, she can use it down in Phoenix and at a Jimmy John's down there or a McDonald's. We have a third-party contract that's contracted out with a third party that has 400,000 locations nationwide. I know a lot of hockey communities and families, they travel a lot for tournaments. We have merchants down in the cities. We have merchants in Fargo. So if you go down to the cities and you go to Hazelwood for a restaurant, you'll go out to eat that night, you can use our RARA discount at that restaurant in Hazelwood. RARA corporately is held in Minneapolis. So it's in Minneapolis, and then we kind of have a territory up here in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Western Minnesota. We deal with a lot of hockey families in Minnesota. Right now, we have a number of different districts down there that is part of RARA, and obviously there's a heavy, I don't know what your guys' costs are, but down there, how they incorporate RARA with their families and their kids is they have memberships, and each family goes out and gets an X amount of memberships, and that cuts down on their fee price. So it's $5,000 to play down at Edina per family. If a family has memberships of about $2,500, it cuts off about $2,500 for them. So let's keep going. I just want to give you an overview about what RARA is about, and then we'll dive into some details here. Keep going. So we had a pilot transaction. This is our business affiliate pilot results. This includes all of North Dakota, South Dakota, and western Minnesota, and part of Minnesota. So the long and the short of this is during COVID, we had about 3,800 businesses that was a part of RARA. RARA actually kind of got started because of COVID. So we used to go in and sell all those booklets to organizations and groups. Well, with COVID, you couldn't go into school anymore. It didn't allow you to go in. So now it turned into, we had to figure out a way to make it all digital. How can we do that? So we signed up 3,800 different businesses through RARA in about 2 years. Now, the average savings for each RARA member was about a $6 redemption. So every time you walked into a business that was affiliated with RARA, you were saving about $6. Right now, our single membership is about $59 a year. So you go into at $6, you get your money back pretty quickly. So you see the benefit in the redemption aspect where $59 for a year, when I can redeem at $6, I go to Charis, once a month, you're gonna get your return on your money easily going to Charis once a month. But I don't wanna dive into too many numbers here, but the big number in this is that within all of our business affiliates, you're saving about $6 in redemption. This is our membership data during our pilot program. For our pilot program, there's a 6-month, a yearly, a dual family, corporate, and 2 different corporate memberships. We don't have the 6-month anymore because we had families that said, why are we renewing biannually? Let's just make it a yearly deal. So we don't have the 6-month anymore. Our yearly membership during the pilot was $39.99. We've increased that to $59. Again, this was about 3 years ago. We've increased that to $59. However, every other membership has stayed the same. So your family membership is still $124. So if you buy a family, you get 4. You can hand that out to 2 of your kids, a husband, a friend. You get 4. You get 4 memberships, redemptions with that.
It's basically one thing that like Charles has talked about doing a buy one order, you get one free type thing. Okay, so if you're there with your kids and they're 21, obviously, you can only use that once and get it with one membership. If the whole family has it, all 4 people can redeem that night.
We have, so our membership levels, that's our different membership levels. Memberships are split 50-50. So all membership dollar revenues that come into RARA, 50% would go to Bismarck Utaki, 50% would go to RARA. That's on the membership level. We're going to show you there's multiple different revenue streams that can happen with RARA, and we're going to show you this. This is one of them. So you have the membership split. All donations, so say mom wanted to donate on behalf of Jimmy an extra $100 for Bismarck Youth Hockey, 100% of donations go back to the organization. It's the only membership that is split 50-50. We don't make any money on the donations. We don't take any money from the donations. It's only the membership base that we have any type of revenue that comes to RARA. So it's a 50-50 split. On the memberships, it's 100% of the donations go back to the organization. Actually, we go back one more. So during our pilot program, the average organization profit per member was $28 because that included the membership 50-50 split and the donation aspect that people would give on top of. So during our pilot, 23% of RARA members gave $35 on top of the membership for a donation. So if you add all those together, our average organization profit per member is $28. Pizza, cookie dough, anything like that, you're at about $12, if you can even get to $12, maybe 10. Our organization was about $28. Okay? Yeah, skip that.
This is the.
How many members you say you guys have again, kids?
750.
750? I don't know how since our computers are Dell, so I don't know that was
So when you say memberships, that's what the kids would be selling, like our members, we have 750 kids, about memberships would be what they're out.
Yep,
selling,
if they're young enough, they don't have a phone or something, parents can set up their profile, Yep, and then basically, which I'll talk about a little bit, those kids send it out to whatever contacts there may be, grandmas, uncles, whatever, and then they can look up on there, see all the deals of everything before they commit to anything, see if it's something they want or like. And then, they kind of purchase it from there. So, you may want to zoom on something like this, it's going on there. We'll just change it. I can talk.
So you guys see that or no? Sorry, you need binoculars. I don't know how to change it to make it bigger on the screen with the.
Is there a presentation mode on there?
Is there
It's got everything, I'm sorry, it's got everything on here like tiny.
Go zoom in and you scroll down.
Yeah, T guy.
You know
Gotta go around.
There we go. Get there? How's that? That's somewhat better? There you go. I can kind of point out the numbers too.
How's that? We getting there?
Yeah.
That's about as big as we can go here. Okay, so we call our, sorry about that. We call our kids the stars, okay? So you have the stars of 750, and you have the fans, which would be the members that sign up, that support the star. Okay, so our sales calculator here shows if you had 750 kids in your organization, each kid got 3. Now, we know that's very conservative. These numbers that we're showing you here are very conservative. For example, other youth hockey organizations, Minnesota, they're making each kid get 10. And there's a lot of kids down there, but for our purposes, North Dakota, the size of our metros here, we're saying 3. So with 3 at 750 and 3 fans per kid, that's about 2,200 members associated with Rah here in Bismarck with Bismarck Youth Hockey. Our membership sign up, we're saying, is $59.99. So that's a single. Now, there's a lot of families that are going to go out and get the 124 because it's a better deal. We're basing all of our calculations off of a single. So your total revenue would be 135, roughly 135. 50% of that, 67, 68 grand goes to Bismarck Youth Hockey, 68 goes to Rah. Now, on top of that as well, you gotta do a 2-finger scroll. I know you don't know how to work a math. I mean, I show them just do one thing. Okay, this is kind of glitchy, sorry. All right, so you got your organization profit of 50%, about 68 grand. And then on top of that, we added in the donation. 23% of those members were gonna donate on top, around $35. That's what we saw in our pilot program. And 100% of those proceeds go back to the organization. So that's about 18,000 that goes back to Bismarck Youth Hockey. So your total in year 1 would be about 85,000 that comes into your hockey club, your organization, based on 750 stars, kids, and 3 members getting signed up per kid. If there's any questions, stop me, because there's a lot of numbers that are going to come into play here. So please stop me and let me know.
So do those donations, the 100%, go directly to the kid?
Organization. Yep. All funds will go to the organization, and then you guys can do what you want with the funds.
But we'll see where that came from.
Yeah, so our back-end data, we will show you on our back-end data monthly, hey, this is the number of members that came in this month, this is the number of donations that came in, and you get paid the next month. So August, when do you guys usually start? Like, when's your season? Is it all year?
I mean, there's something all year, but our season's
October.
October. So say you start in October, your first check coming in would be November. That shows how many memberships are signed up in October.
You guys can see which kids have raised how many. I mean,
I'm just wondering if we could direct the funds towards a specific kid.
Yep.
Yeah, we have that data that we can show that.
Yeah, so if one kid got donations, right, like we could direct that towards, registration somehow.
Yeah, you guys can do what you want with the funds.
We see that data.
Yeah, we provide you all the data that you need, and you guys do it. We're not gonna tell you what to do with the funds. So what's neat about this now is the residual aspect, and this is where a lot of youth organizations are excited about this. So in year two, highlight the new. Can you highlight the new fans one? Down. Yep. Okay. So in year two, this is how the profit would work. You have 5 kids coming in for the next year that kids are participating in Bismarck Youth Hockey, 5 new ones. And each one of the kids that already participated for year 1, they're getting 2 more each year. So really a kid in a 4-year span, they start off getting, 3. They start off getting 3. Then year 2, they get 2 more people to sign up. Year 3, they get 2 more. Year 4, they get 2 more. That's our calculation on the residual income. That kid can go out and get 5 more each year. We're being conservative and saying each kid would get 2 more for each consecutive year. Does that make sense? So your total for year 2 would be about 142,000.
And we're saying that total of the percentage that we're saying, we say
Yeah.
memberships that we lose.
Yeah. So your total would be about 142,000. We are considering in our data our retention of 75%. So we're saying 25% of the people aren't going to renew their credit card. They're going to forget to sign up. They don't want to support Jimmy anymore at Bismarck Youth Hockey. We're considering 25% of those people do not renew. Okay, so we have that plugged in already. So by year 4, someone's with your program 4 years. That 4 years, those group of kids are bringing about 246,000, and in a 4-year profit, it's about 661. Now the numbers seem really high, and they seem, wow, that's outrageous. There's no way you can do this. But we've noticed within youth organizations especially, if everyone gets on board and they're committed to getting 3 or 2, starting out year 1, and then each year they get a couple more, these numbers are legitimate and can be attained easily. There's no question about it. They just seem big, but because of the residual income aspect. If Jimmy's already got 3 signed up, the following year, Jimmy's got 3 signed up already, he doesn't have to do anything. We're telling Jimmy, go get 2 more for year 2. Then year 3, go get 2 more. Well, he's already got, after year 2, he'd already have 5. So it's that residual component that that's paid for youth organizations.
And that's why we're putting a lot of stock into the product. We're getting, the places people enjoy, Bismarck, the companies, the local businesses, the entertainment places, that people see value, and that they get good discounts, not $1 off here, but more of the bigger. There's a couple places in Fargo, the Wellness District place, that has massages, got the nail spas and stuff there. One of their things is $100 off on a certain package. Right there you already, easily impact. So we're thinking people will want to get this back, and they can see all their savings throughout the year. It calculates it all. They can see, how much they've saved throughout the year. So it's live there working for them. So kind of different.
So we'll show you the product. We'll show you the actual tech part of it. Is there any other? And I know we're on a time limit here. Is there any other questions on the fundraising aspect, the residual income? How would we get started on it? We would come in and support. We would come in and support and do a kickoff for all families and kids that want to do it. We would never just go to, hey, how many groups do you have? What's your age bracket?
4 to 15.
4 to 15. We would come in and we wouldn't just say, well, here you go, coaches. Go, here's rah-rah now. This is what you have to do. This is how we're going to fundraise. We would help service rah-rah to all your groups and ages. Does that make? We wouldn't just leave it up to you guys and, hey, you guys got to push this out. We'd be there supporting any questions. We've got kickoff calls that we're doing with other youth organizations, or they're bringing families in that we can do for you. Do you know how to exit out of that, or do I got to go over there?
What other hockey groups are using in North Dakota?
We're meeting with the board, West Fargo Stampede. I got a meeting on May 8th with Rob at Moorhead Youth Hockey. Brotherhood of Hockey and really different wrestling.
We would venture up to my underground.
Yeah, we've got
That's
that.
kind of our, year one territory starting point.
We have, District 7 in Minneapolis, I think it's District 7, so the Edina, Chaska, Chanhassen, Minnetonka. We got about 5,000 kids on board right now in the metro. And like I said, when they come up to Moorhead and play, or they come up to Fargo for a tournament, they can use our product in Fargo, and vice versa.
Have you sold to, for us, beyond that?
So this is our product. So just so you guys know, Raw 1.0 is out there right now. It is live. If you go to rawsolutions.com, there'll be 70 different merchants in town. It is live. We are not servicing Raw 1.0 right now. 2.0 is in development. It is finishing up at the beginning of May here. We're almost done with it. And we're gonna beta test it from June until August 1st. So our go live in Raw 2.0 is August 1st. So that's when we're gonna go live with it. We have partnered with, and we've been working on it for about a year and a half now, our app. We have partnered with Tarmac. Tarmac created the Caribou Coffee app. So if you go to Caribou or anything, the app they're using, Tarmac created that. They're our tech partner. They've also created the Sports Engine side of Sports Engine, the website and everything.
Is that what you guys use?
And Sports Engine, a lot of people don't like Sports Engine now. And the reason is, I don't know if you guys know, the reason is they got bought out by NBC Sports. And so the guys that helped create Sports Engine aren't part of it anymore. They got bought out, so that's why it's gone down. But Tarmac is not associated with Sports Engine. They just helped create it before it got sold. So that's our tech partner. That's who's doing all of our digital on the back end. We have, as we said, we got nationwide deals. Some of the features, and I'm going to go through this quick. Each kid would have a profile of their own. So you got Jimmy with Bismarck Kentucky. He'd have a profile of his own, and he can put his name, his favorite NHL star, and if he had a goal or a highlight, we could post a goal or a highlight on his, we call it a profile. This is not a, how do I say, this is not a social media platform that you're thinking of. It's all closed-ended. So the only people that can follow Jimmy are people that support Jimmy on a membership base. So Jimmy scores a goal and he's got a highlight up. Nobody can go in there and dislike Jimmy's goal or comment on it. It's all closed-ended. So we have in phase 2, which is going to be in 2025, we're going to have all coaches and organization leads be able to message out. So if a game got canceled in a tournament in the cities, you can message out all the coach can message out all the parents in Rara and say, hey, game postponed or got moved to 5 o'clock. So there's in-app communication that we're going to have. There's sales tracking as well, and that is live right now. So you guys could see the data on the back end of how many memberships are coming in, which age groups coming in with how many memberships and the total revenue coming in. So there is that tracking capability. We do have location services. So if you go down to the cities right now, when 2.0 goes live, it'll notify you that, hey, there's 25 different merchants within your 5-mile vicinity that you can use it. We are working on phase 2 for geofencing. So if you go down to the cities and you sat in a Raising Cane's fast food or you sat at Hazelwood Restaurant, we're working on the technology that it would ping you and say, hey, use this, you can use this discount at Hazelwood right now. We don't have that capability yet. We're going to work on it in phase 2, which is going to happen in 2025.
I think the other thing that's kind of cool too as an organization, as far as messaging out, you can give a thanks to everybody who purchased it. You know, thanks for supporting, our club or youth hockey because you donated. We were able to do this with this.
You got all these different ice times that were covered. Thanks for being a Rah supporter. We had, a month's rent of ice time that was covered because of your guys' memberships.
The members would have this happen too, right? Like,
Yep.
Jimmy sends a Coke or whatever, they're linked up to him somehow.
Correct. So if Jimmy's sending it out, however many members sign up under Jimmy, it's directed towards Jimmy and his team.
Sure.
And his team, yeah. Yep. Keep going here. Any questions on the app or the tech part at all? Okay. The last part we have here, and this is something that came up through us in the cities as well as in Fargo. This is another form of revenue. Keep scrolling down, or keep going through here. This is another form of revenue. One more. So we have a digital ad revenue program as well. We have a lot of companies, or I shouldn't say a lot, a handful in the cities, such as Raising Cane's. We went down there and we said, hey, would you want to be on our platform? You know, we'd love to have you guys as a merchant. They kind of giggled at us because we looked out, they said, look out our window, the cars are a block long. I don't know if you guys ever been to a Raising Cane's, but they're packed every single time. They said, we don't need discounts, but we like the fact that your organization supports the community, it supports local youth. So they said, we want to promote our company on your platform. So we created an ad revenue program that is associated with our app. And there's different tiers in the ad revenue, and I'm not going to dive into the details, but how it would work is we had to set a standard for organizations like yourself to get a chunk of ad revenue. So what I mean by that, this is a projection in Fargo. Year from now, or I should say August until the following August, we're projected to have about 25,000 members in Fargo. Our ad revenue, so myself and a sales rep that we have in Fargo has gone throughout the community and asked a lot of different companies and know how much companies spend on ad space. It's a ton of money. You're looking at Shields, True North Steel. A lot of these organizations spend a ton of money on paper ads. Our product differentiates itself because, I don't know if you guys have Bison Illustrated out here and whatnot, but Bison Illustrated in Fargo, there's a lot of advertising. You walk into a Hornbacher's in North Dakota, there's a stack of 50 of them sitting in the crate where you can pick them up. Those companies don't know how many eyeballs actually look at their ad. They have no idea. They're just paying for the space because hopefully a handful of people buy or take this Bison Illustrated and look at it. Our data we can prove, say Shields, for example, we can go to Shields and say, hey, out of our 25,000 members in Fargo and Bismarck, 5,000 of them looked at your ad or scrolled through your ad last week. We have the data capability to prove to these corporations that we can track the number of eyes and the number of clicks that these corporations will pay for. So there's value in what we can provide these corporations. On the fundraising side, because of that, we had to put a standard. We put the limit at 3,000 members per organization. So if you meet 3,000 members of an organization, you qualify for the ad revenue. In this scenario, if you had 300,000 in total ad revenue, we pay out 70%. 70% of all ad we pay out to organizations, okay? Raw only takes 30%. Of that 70%, you have to have 3,000 members to be to qualify for the ad revenue. So out of this scenario, if Bismarck Youth Hockey had 3,000 members and there's 25,000 members in the community, you'd have 12% of the ad revenue. That's $25,000. So you're basing the number of fans is your percentage off the total number. That's the percentage that you're going to get out of that 70%. Ooh, I lost. Makes sense? Makes sense? And so we're being very conservative in the ad part, just because I know how much, I have good friends that I know how much Shields spends on advertising. We know how much a lot of these big Sanford, how much a lot of these companies spend. So we're being pretty conservative. So of that 300,000, 70% is 210 grand. So 210,000 will be distributed amongst whoever qualifies for the ad revenue. So in a nutshell, there's two forms of revenue. You got the membership side with your organization, and the kids go out, the stars go out and get memberships. You obviously have the donation that goes with that. And then you have the potential for ad revenue as well. We have some organizations that say, hey, we're never going to get to 3,000 members. And we get that, we understand that. But we also can't go to Shields and say, hey, want to have, would you be on our platform for $100,000 this year? And there's only 250 people that look at our platform. We have to justify that number. and that number is 3,000.
So could that be a later thing? Like say, we're doing this, 2 years down the road, we do know we make that mark, that 3,000 mark. Leave that later on.
Yeah, so this is 2025.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so ad revenue is 2025, and the reason is, we can't, in order to gain the corporations we want, we have to prove we have members.
Oh, right.
I can't go to someone right now with 0 members.
Right, no, that makes sense.
So if we hit 3,000 in 2027, now we can get on that year.
100%. Or 2025, you have 3,000 members, you can get on it. So in a nutshell, it's simple for coaches, it's simple for organizations, it's easy to track the dollar amounts, and it's a one-time deal where you don't have to go out every single year and sell the same things. It's residual, and the biggest thing is our product is exceptional, and we have a great feeling that people are gonna want to keep this product. If I know that I can go to Charles or Plaza Tech and Fargo, and I'm gonna buy a margarita and get one half off, which is $7 just one time on redemption. It's an easy, when you think about it in the number sense, it's in your return on your 59 that you're supporting a kid and supporting an organization, it's a no-brainer. Any other questions? I know we kind of went through it, and with board meetings, we try to get out of here because I know every time people are like, is it time to go home yet?
That we didn't touch on is if the local high schools were to be on board with this as well, once they leave your guys' program, they would have the option to click Legacy Hockey, Century Hockey, and the work that they have done over those years would then go to that program. The memberships they have already accumulated now goes to that club. If they're not, then it just keeps going back to you guys, because it has to go back to an organization. You would, those kids would be paying fees for it anymore, so now it's just going to your club. Year after year after year, because, or if a kid quits or moves, the work they've done, unless a kid moves to the cities, now he's got the option to get that club if they're on board with Raw.
And that's why we're so big on our product component of Raw, the app, and the merchants that we get involved, because we want mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle to continue to use the app. Even when Jimmy's not affiliated with Bismarck Youth Hockey, we want people to keep the app because they see the savings they're making. And so that residual income still comes back to an organization.
So how many Bismarck organizations are currently signed up?
Currently?
Yeah.
We have, let's see. Well, we got one full school we're looking at.
Maybe two.
Yeah, maybe 2 full schools.
They're not going live till August. I mean,
Right.
we have ran high school teams here, a basketball team here, football team, like that type of thing. As far as the youth organizations, we've talked to a couple.
We talked to 3 right now. We'd be number 4 that we've presented to and that have, want us to present to.
And the reason I ask is obviously, every organization is selling these, it's gonna be hard to sell, right?
So you have to remember, we have that question come up. It's not isolated to Bismarck. So if grandma and grandpa are in Arizona, or you have a cousin in the cities and the aunt and uncle want to support a kid with Bismarck Youth Hockey, you're getting memberships outside of Bismarck Mandan. It's not just Bismarck Mandan that you can reach out. The outreach is anywhere. Now, yes, you don't have 70% of your family probably is not in Arizona or somewhere else, but the outreach is not just locally, it's regionally and nationally that our product works, and memberships can be brought in anywhere.
So if the kids play 2 sports, or
So
3
if
or
it
4.
might be wrestling or something.
They pick.
They pick which
You'd
one.
so right now I'll be fully transparent, our platform can't handle, and as part of our phase 2 and 25, we cannot have a kid, say part of Bismarck Youth Hockey and part of wrestling, you said. We can't split that fee on an organizational base.
They can have
However,
profiles.
yes, you could sign up twice, there's no question, we just couldn't,
You just do it for hockey because it's more expensive.
we just couldn't split those funds to different organizations. Now, it's different in school. So it's different within a school organization because you have a number of different activities, right? So in Fargo, we got all of Fargo North High School, every organization. Those we got every activity under Fargo North. If a kid plays football and track, or is, in cheerleading and track, those kids on their profile, they could put cheerleading and track, and all the funds they generate split because it's under one organization. The problem is when you get outside of organization by organization, that's where we don't have the capability yet. We are working on that to make it in phase 2 where it's acceptable, and how we can figure out how that works between organizations. But right now you'd have to sign up for 2 or just pick one. But within different activities, you can split it within different activities. That's a great question though.
And so right now, you said the app is not going to be, the new version isn't ready until August?
August 1, we're live. So we are beta testing it in about 3 weeks, and we run a 2-month beta test. So every tech company that's out there, they want you to beta test for 2 weeks. So Mormon, myself, handful of people within our organization are going to get the app in about a couple of weeks, and then we're going to start playing with it. Then we're going to send it out to people we know just to test it and make sure, hey, everything's working appropriately. We go to a business affiliates, make sure the redemptions work. So we test it for 2 months, and then we go live. It's kind of like working out all the kinks is what we're doing.
Yeah, I guess the question from that is more so, is there a way to see, to see the app before we would commit to anything too? Kind of work through it, look at what businesses are in town, what, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we can send you data on that. You wouldn't be able to, without being a member, you wouldn't be able to actually do a redemption.
Right,
make sense?
just to be able to kind of
Yeah.
utilize the app and see what it's like, and is it businesses that are a part of it?
So before, so you guys are on board, and before you guys, we start the onboarding with teams and coaches, we can come up and show you and say, hey, this is how it works on a step-by-step process to get somebody signed up, and you'll see all of the businesses affiliated before somebody signs up. So people know before they sign up who's affiliated with Rah-Rah and Business Spectrum.
We could have a list of all that too. Sure.
Yeah.
Second.
So you just said, how you sign up. So how does Grandma in Arizona say, yes, I want to buy a membership? Do you send her a link? Does she get that?
Yep, so there's different ways you can do it. You can send a link through a text. You can do social media, like if you sent it out in Facebook Messenger or something. So you got the link, you got Facebook Messenger and a text, like you can text it out to Grandma and Grandpa.
So email to it?
Yeah, and email. So they would click it, and then there's a step-by-step that says, okay, you need to download the app. Then you would download the app, and it's just like any other Netflix membership base or residual membership. Username, password, who you're supporting, so you can pick Jimmy from Bismarck Youth Hockey. And then at the end, it's going to show you, okay, here's all the business affiliates in your location. Then it's going to say, do you want to donate? And that's where people can make one-time donations on top of it, and then they hit submit, and then they're a member of Rah-Rah. So Grandma and Grandpa in Arizona would be tied to Jimmy, because Jimmy sent out the link.
I think the nice thing too, it doesn't come from like a spam text, sometimes those things, it comes from a weird number. This would come from that personal cell phone number that they do it from.
Because they sign up under their name and they sign up under their number, their name and number. Yeah. It's a good question.
So what would BHB, so we want to do it, what would our cost be up front? I mean, is there
Zero cost.
There's no cost for us to be a part of this, and
No
It's
terms,
just-
no cost. You could do it year one and be like, you know what, we only made 75,000. You said we were gonna make 150. Then you just say, we don't want to do it anymore. And there's no term. There's no term.
Coaches in town that did this back when it was a hard, go to 1.0 stuff, and they don't do it anymore. They're still receiving a check once a year from
Really?
people who are still renewing 1.0.
And I'm fully transparent on it, we are not servicing 1.0 because people will go out and check it now and then download the app and they're like, in my mind, it's garbage because we hired 2 people in Minneapolis that basically did it out of the basement where we've seen what people want and how we've adjusted it, and then we've hired a lot of funds have gone to Tarmac to develop this and create this app.
I was actually worried when I met with the principal. He goes, was it like Rah-Rah? I was like, I said, yeah, he goes, oh, I love it, I use it at G. Wilbur's, I use it at, we stop all the way to the lake at.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's, we use it, my wife has saved $300 in the last 2 years, she said.
Yeah, our average,
I was a little worried, because I agree, it's an old version, it's.
our average savings, depending on the quality of the business for a year, someone's saving between $500 and $1,000.
So
Under
is
$59.99.
Is that open over to sunset then? So like, there's not a mistake where, you know, Graham accidentally downloaded 1.0, like one was gonna sunset.
It's gone. Yeah, it'll be gone. Yep. We are transitioning people that do have, because there are people that still use it and that do have it.
Mandatory
It's,
save.
yeah, they're like a legacy, they're part of the legacy. They'll just transition into the 2.0. But no, there's no cost. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, could you send us like your presentation?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see everything, yeah.
Yeah.
But then we can get into like our fundraising committee and stuff, and I mean,
Yeah, we can send you that. I'll have Lawrence connected with you, send it to you. We are looking, you know, you guys said October, so you guys do have time and whatnot. You know, to see if you guys want to do it. If you want us to come out again, have any more questions, you let us know. But we're starting to get some, you know, there's other platforms out there, but they're just not quite like what we have. They're just, there's nobody like it yet. I mean, you use one right now for your ECI program, and we're a lot different than what he uses. He doesn't not use it because it's not a good product. We just don't have 2.0 yet, but.
So my question is, you have all these gas stations, so I walk into a gas station, how do I get the vehicle?
You'd have to walk in and you'd have to scan it and have
They all know, like, that's the worst thing about these things, is half people never know what it is, and so they're like, never mind.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
Yep, so one, and it happens at my gas station, so I own Holidays as well. So it happens at my gas stations. A lady came in about 2 months ago with the rah-rah, and I'm a franchise, and my employee tried to scan it and it did not work. And it did not work because our 1.0 is not affiliated with franchises. It's affiliated on the corporate side. So does that happen? Absolutely. What our team does is service these businesses. So we make sure that these businesses have the 10 cents off. You know, you have your barcode to show 10 cents off. Okay, you have to go inside and do that and scan it.
Right, but the person's gonna know, they're gonna go, oh, what are you doing?
Yep, and that may happen on the back, as long as the POS system is tied with that barcode, it will work. And that's on our team to make that work. You know, at Chara's or anywhere else, at a nail spa or, you know, wherever else. That has happened. Yeah.
I think the more local places that aren't the big corporate places are easier, those people wouldn't know, most of like that type of thing. Sure.
Yeah, when I go to Buffalo Wild Wings and like, I got a little sticker and they're like, I don't know what to do with this, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's the employees, I mean, we ran into it with the club cards, right? Like the employees at the sites were like, what the heck is this? There's a stamp, what are you talking about? You know, I mean, it's just, it's training of the employees from upper management, but.
And I can't sit here and say every single place is gonna have it 100% perfect and this is all gonna work, but I do know the higher value places where you're gonna save $10 on a meal, or that will work, because that's, we look at servicing the local versus the national brands that you're talking about. The national brands, we partner with a third party, we pay them, and so we get all these McDonald's and, what's another one? Dairy Queens, stuff like Subways. I mean, we get those. Half the time they work, half the time they don't, because they haven't updated on the third party world. But a lot of the bigger business affiliates in town, that's what we're kind of, the local establishment is what we're more after. And you can use it anywhere. You can use it in the cities. If you go down there, we got hundreds of businesses in there down in the cities. And
So then, like, are we allowed to like pull a report that says, okay, these people have used it this many times, or these people, right, like, it automatically renews?
yep, so
But then they don't use it because it's like a Y membership, like, ooh, we didn't, like, this is how we make money, because people aren't paying attention.
They have to accept it, that they're.
Well, right, but like, is there a report that says, okay, this person renewed, but then how many times have they used it?
Correct.
last year. So when you get a parent that's like mad because, well, I didn't know, like, I got charged whatever the cost is.
Yeah, so,
So does it
Do they have to
auto renew
acknowledge
like Netflix,
yearly?
or does it auto renew like Costco where you have to go and they're like, it's time to renew?
yeah, so you get notified 2 weeks in advance of your renewal that says your renewal's coming up. You get notified again 1 week in advance that your renewal's coming up. Do you want to renew? And you can opt out or you can opt in.
So if you click nothing, what happens?
Then you don't auto-renew.
Yeah,
It's just done.
Yeah.
So if you didn't see those emails,
Who gets the?
$59.99 isn't coming out of your bank account. 'Cause that's like something, that's like what you're.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
So
but is there a
Right.
report too, to know like, okay, this is beneficial, like our members are using? Yes.
Yeah, well, we have reports that we can send you that show you, the parents of the 10, they've used it this many times. Also, you can check yourself on your app. So we didn't dive into actually what the app, there's a presentation that we can actually show you how the app works. In the app, on the fan side, you have basically the people that you're supporting. There's a button for who you're supporting, and then there's the merchant button, the deal button, okay? And it lists all the deals. Under that deals button, there's a redemption. It's kind of like a favorite. So if you hit that redemption, it lists every single redemption that you've used and the total amount you've saved. And then also notifies you. So say you use the free app at Charas, for example. If you use that once a month, the next month, it will tell you this is ready to use again. So it notifies you in your favorites tab because you've used it before, this is ready to use again. Yep. It's a good question. But yeah, they are notified on the auto renew aspect of it. And you're gonna have kids there's a pending button that the kids can see. So if they click it, it could say, and there's an inactive button, or somebody used to be a member and they're not anymore. Kids can click that and ask, Grandma and Grandpa, why didn't you renew? Did you not like it? Did you not use it?
Camera.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
that's cool.
Any other questions or comments or anything we can help you with?
I don't, Luke, I mean, I can get in touch with you if we get the presentation and stuff and, get a little more discussed.
And if we can come out again in mid-summer or, into the fall, if you wanted to talk again, like I said, we're going live. We do have a lot of the fundraising aspect does go out in August, because a lot of programs start in August, so August, September will be pretty tied up.
Cool.
But, yeah, thanks for having us.
No, thanks, guys. Good deal. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
You know, all these meetings go sometimes. Cool. Hello.
Thanks, Ian, appreciate your time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Right, next agenda item was the discussion and any action on the bylaw changes that were sent out. Did anybody get feedback?
I got no feedback.
On the changes? I got some feedback, but it wasn't on the changes we sent, it was on other changes people thought we could make the bylaws. It'd be good with that. So no.
I just think that the membership should vote on the president. So the president coming in has to come from the board, which likely will only be one person who says it would be me.
Right.
But on the off chance,
Historically, there's only been.
Yeah. On the off chance that there are two, the membership should vote say which two. So.
I agree with that.
I mean, I think what got misconstrued, maybe even going to Jerry's comment, that he said in the email, like this person is still voted on by the members to get onto the board in the first place. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not that they're not being voted in, we're just selecting some random person. They are being voted on into the board.
My only concern is that if somebody's appointed because somebody moves into the president role, we discussed that. That that's why membership should always vote for the president.
Makes sense.
So I will make a motion to pass the bylaws with that addition. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Sure.
So pass the bylaws as sent to the membership with the one change of.
There'll still be a vote on the president.
There'll be a vote on this.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any, you to come back there? And so Jerry's comment, you can send us an email here, just so I'll put it in the comment section here.
It kind of takes care of what it's called.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
And I think that was, I didn't personally get written feedback, but, I had questions on it. Just at the rate it's,
Yes, he would like to see, the members that make up the club vote on the next president. I think that would address that. Any other comments? Like I said, I think there was additional feedback for, as we update things this summer. Any other comments, Ian? Motion in a second. On to adopt the bylaws as presented with an update that the membership still votes on the president role. But it has to be approved.
Yeah.
No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, last item on the agenda was we met with 4 different architect firms. I'd say we had probably 5 or 6 people at this meeting. They all had great presentations. I think they all do a very great job at this. So just kind of where we want to go with that. You want to pick one, continue the discussion?
I mean, just to move forward, I mean, I like I said, I like all the great presentations. I'd be in favor of Icon personally. With the number they came in at, also, I really like the fundraising aspect. Their experience with everything, I really like their fundraising aspect as well. Yeah, so I mean, that would be my choice. I do like JLG's, they were really specific on ice, ice expert that was there, which was really cool. I did like the Endeavor guys a lot too, local. But I'd be in favor of that. My opinion. Sure.
I agree. I thought they were all very impressive. To see you guys were there to listen to it. All brought something unique, different from each other. I agree. The Endeavor was very, very good, very eager. I thought, said Icon with the cost and some of the things that they were doing. I thought that was probably my favorite.
Gymnastics also attended. Some of them have asked for an update for their board meeting following if we have one.
Did they have?
I'd like to hear their feedback.
Yeah, did they?
They made it to 2 out of 4.
Yeah, they read that second one.
So they were there for Endeavor and jail. So they did see Econ and Jeff do both present. So, but my feedback from her afterwards was all good. So I don't think you can go wrong. They were all great. So I think it's just if you want to make a decision to move forward with it.
What does it look like?
So if we were to move forward with all of them, they all had a similar time frame, about 8 weeks. And that would be meeting with the different user groups, so if it's, ice portion, meeting with, us, we get Mario involved for the on-ice.
These are costs for this illegal.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, so they all have different costs, range from 10,000 up to 40, is the highest, at 46,000, for it. And, at the end of 8 weeks, after they met with everybody, they can have some preliminary drawings, some 3D renderings, some site analysis, and then a pitch deck that the organizations could then go out and start raising.
So after 8 weeks, if we see,
That's a good pick.
roughly,
10, 4 was the lowest.
that's our total.
Yeah,
Okay, that's for drawings.
that's for a preliminary drawing, not a full construction.
Okay.
That will get us out the door to start fundraising to get donors and all the things to.
The names, they all said they redo the plans to put names on the buildings, if we want to meet with certain groups around town, and help with ideas. And then it would be engaging the other user groups, right? So it's just kind of us taking this next step. Gymnastics is going to help with this cost as well.
With this cost, they were,
First aid, yeah.
like 50.
I think more on a 25-75.
Yeah, because they have this.
The scale, I mean, there's
But they are,
much smaller facility.
Yeah. Do we want,
But I think
do we want to wait till we?
it's probably, I don't know that you guys can make the decision without them agreeing if they're also, right?
Yes, we can,
Probably
I can
just-
reach out, so if we have a paper, I mean, we can table it for a final decision and reach out to them if they agree.
I think we probably should check, I think we can check.
I mean, I guess the two that
And
I
also
think
the
you guys.
financials, budgeting,
Yeah, and the two that you guys mentioned, I mean, are very different costs, so I mean, gymnastics may be fine. For the others, do that.
One was 10-4 and the other was 35-6. Between the two, those two.
And is the plan still like kind of getting through this first phase and then trying to get like that youth sports organization, nonprofit?
Yes, and then, there is also another group possibly pursuing this. I heard through the chamber, so I'll find out more on Thursday. There might be able to.
When is that type
For
Youth sports organization.
to, or
or what were you talking about?
Yeah, and we talked about like creating a
A
separate nonprofit with
Yes.
all the different user groups.
yeah, so then, hockey would have representation on there, gymnastics, baseball, soccer, and then some community members.
Yeah.
They're gonna be completely separate. And then if they could take this fundraising package, then it'd go up. Raise the funds more. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, yes.
It's kind of BHB getting the ball rolling. And then, having some representation and say what moves forward. But if there is another group, like I said, I'll find out more Thursday. It'd be nice to combine efforts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that came from the chamber that there's another, I mean, it's not a hockey group, but I'm sure it's a turf and baseball, football. Get everybody in one room so we can get it done. Would be great. So. Well, that's, I can reach out to gymnastics. If what we want to do.
I think so, I think any feedback we get is probably to have everyone so make the right decision.
Okay. I can do that. Dave's messaging me today, so.
If we do get financials back, then everything back, then we need 2 weeks, so it's not like.
Well, that might be better to know the financials too on that.
Well, right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Might steer
Whether
things.
it's 10,000 or 35, it's still ugly, right? Big difference. We get some fundraising this week.
Yes, if the app goes well.
Right, in August.
Yes. Okay. Anything else?
I just guess, question then, bylaws approved, what is happening with elections?
So according to bylaws, I've had 4 people reach out with interest on running for board. So I think we should push another email for anybody else interested, just so we can get the ballot for July, or June,
Because
May.
So it's like,
So we'll have to push.
I would say.
elections May, and then they would have a crossover month with the old board.
Yeah, so maybe we should just
July.
decide to move that, 4 weeks from today.
And we could push it off, it doesn't.
I'd like to give everybody a chance if they want to run. So far, it's all been for the disciplinary, member at large. No takers on the secretary role yet.
So I mean, to be clear, we have secretary and disciplinary chair,
Correct.
Right.
We'll do the 2 spots.
but then do we also have hockey committee positions? Yes.
But is that board appointed?
Elected.
Elected, so then we would have to focus, yes. There's 2 spots, right, secretary and
Member at large.
member at large. Disciplinary. Well, there's the disciplinary and secretary for board, and then there's the hockey committee. Spots.
Right, like the hockey committee has its own elected positions.
Yeah, to get that side of the club up and running more.
Lane will continue to chair that for right now, right? That's the intent. But, oh, yes, but there was a vice chair.
That's what, vice chair and secretary.
And secretary, and then Mike and Mario.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure we get it clear.
Yeah, we could send out an email.
But yeah, there
for-
will be additional spots in for hockey committee.
Yes. Yeah.
So Lane can't be there, he has a vice chair. An assistant.
Big time.
Yeah, we can get those positions out and,
So they want me one?
well, I think we could send those out this week.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want, by the end of the week, maybe.
Do we have a closing date on when you can, like?
We should, I would say a week before the election, so we get ballots out, or the online
So you
system.
can get printed
Yes.
there.
Give a scanner machine.
Only in person.
Ready, yes. What week's the only in person? We have a total of 20 people.
13 on round board.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we are ready to move the maybe, so to allow people to secretary vice chair.
To put their name in the. So May, be looking at 21st of May.
When is school out?
Not till that week, later that week, so.
Public school. You got kids or something like that?
What?
You got kids around?
Yeah, I got kids. And then the last week of school's like, a week, we're all moms, and some dads, maybe all dads. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Good, do you wanna go to 28th? This was out.
I would say.
I think 23rd, keep it on a Tuesday.
You say 23rd or 21st?
21st. Like
22nd,
yeah.
I was like, let's make it the last day of school, let's just do
Let's
it.
Get it done.
21st of May.
Bring the kids,
Okay.
right?
So that's our next week,
21st of May.
and that's when,
Elections, and if we could figure out this
Hopefully we have-
RFP, architectural.
Financials, lots of recommendations, policies, it'll be a busy meeting.
bring my sleeping bag.
So,
What?
the election
Yeah.
happens.
We did invite people last year to come in and speak if they want.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Anything else before we adjourn?
Yeah, I mean, if we just go into a quick exec session.
Okay. Just need a motion and a second to do that.
Motion to go into executive.
A motion? Second. And second, yeah. Wait.
Sounds like any second, okay, we can change things up.
Any further discussion?